So I want to talk about who your gang stalkers are, why they're fucking with you, how they're fucking with you. It's completely racial. You've got to think about the mass immigration that we've got. It's caused all the problems. In the meantime, meth, heroin, you name it's just been pumping through the streets. Crimes are going unsolved, crimes are going uninvestigated. This just amps up the surveillance. The surveillance is used against the targeted individuals and anybody who is a dissident to the beast system. CBDC, and it's a racial thing. Okay, now let me explain why. The Australian government has lost its middle management. You know who those guys are, the ones that wear the aprons. They've moved in the Indians as middle management. Now, I know from my stalking, and I don't mind having a bit of dirt on me. Hey, do what you want. Give them an excuse to lash out at you, because then they show you who they are. I know that the Indians are in middle management. I know from the snide remarks, the public humiliation, the rude treatment in the shopping, I know all of that. I know that they're in the middle management. They're probably your handlers, okay? Now, they don't have the balls. They have all been treated like royalty growing up. You do get your odd thug type Indians that buy petrol stations, whatever. Their government will buy any property that they want. So that's how they own everything. They don't actually own it. They've illegally bought it. Same with the Chinese. They've bought up to 15 houses each, and they only rent it out to gang stalkers. So the Indians are in managerial sides of things. They've taken over all the job agencies, even your welfare. I had to nearly take Australian welfare to court to get welfare payments. I only found a loophole by asking them to write a letter as to why they're refusing me welfare, so that I could provide that to my super and get a hardship claim on my super. That's what urged them to go forward and put me onto welfare payment. So the Indians in the control of all of this, okay? Because the guys wearing aprons are running, and the guys at the top don't have anybody to run between the upper class and the working class. So the middle management is now working to completely dissipate and wipe out the working class by bringing in more immigrants. This steps up into the army. The army is having problems with recruitment. They're saying that they're not finding any candidates that want to enlist, but in reality what's going on, and I know from the grapevine, they're not woke enough, and good potential soldiers are being rejected, and now the Australian government wants to move into offshore recruiting. You're going to have immigrants that don't care who they shoot because it's not their country, but they're going to be given citizenship and massive housing subsidies, and they're going to own even more of the houses. So that's middle management covered, right? Then you've got the street sector. So the ones patrolling, the ones showing their faces, radio. So a lot of them, I notice, they're white and they're African. They're whites who maybe need a visa. I know that some of them come from England. They need a visa. They're coerced or chosen. They make a choice to get into the gang stalking program so that they're more able to receive the benefits that the gang stalkers get. But the Africans, with their lack of general morals and lust for money, they will do anything. So they're the ones doing a bit of the street patrols. I don't think that they're the ones that are actively doing damages, etc., because they genuinely want to live in Australia, and they're looking for houses to raise a family in, because they don't want to go back to Ghana and get cyanide and arsenic poisoning, extracting gold from computer chips. So they're just here for the good life. But the ones that are doing your damages, doing your thefts, doing your poisonings, are from the Orient. There's a block of suburbs in Alice Springs. It's a one city block. It's got a 12-foot high fence, and every 3 metres it's got LED lights pointing down with a big electronic gate. Every single person there is Chinese. Now, why do I say they're Chinese? The damages and the sabotage done to my vehicle over the last 12 months, you would have had to have a bit of a mechanical background to do that. You couldn't be stupid. You'd have to be good with your hands, from a machining background to do that. You'd also have to be stupid enough to not have any fear. So what they'll also do, they'll come in your house, they'll steal one thing, like the strap from a bag that's very expensive. That's the most common one. It's just to get you riled up. It doesn't work on me. They want you to go out and cause a fiasco, potentially a death, an aggravated assault. They can then get you out of the system, get your housing freed up to move in more gang stalkers. They're given plucker guns, so the security agencies now, you'll notice that they're gang stalking. I think that during the daytime, I think that these are the guys that are pulling up into places, because then there's no questions being asked. They could have an excuse that they're checking on a home security system, and they've got the plucker guns and the clearances to get into your room and open up your assets and do all the fiddling. Then you got the Asians always wearing masks, zooming around. On scooters, you never see them more than twice. There are good ones too, but money is God to them. And this isn't it's not an exact generalisation. It's always everywhere in between. They sway it to which way it wants to go. But right now, along with these security agencies, if you have a look at some of them, they're all foreigners nearly. They've all got their firearms licences. And there's enough of them to put 10 in every suburb. So there's your United Nations forces occupying our country. All they need to do now is move in a foreign military, and then the Oriental powers that be can move in and completely take out our country. You've got to do everything you can to stay ahead of this game, because the moment you give up, you'll be washed away by the current. There are people with powers. We do have powers. You just got to acknowledge what yours is. Don't fall into fear because it's all a bluff. All right, thanks.